A juror from the Depp versus Heard trial has stepped out finally to give his thoughts on the case. This was directly after Heard's controversial statements about the jury on NBC. The juror in his interview spoke out about the worst mistakes that Team Heard made during the trial, which played a pivotal role in tilting the scales against them. So what did the juror have to say about Team Heard? What are their horrible mistakes? Keep watching to find out. In an interview aired Thursday on Good Morning America, a juror in the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial said that when the actress cried during her testimony, the jury saw only crocodile tears. It didn't come across as credible, he admitted. She appeared to be able to manipulate her emotions. She would cry after answering one question, then turn ice cold 2 seconds later. It didn't appear to be natural. Just seemed a little more real in terms of how he responded to questions, he said of Depp. During the 6-week trial, the juror, one of 7, spoke exclusively to GMA and is the only juror on record to speak publicly about the case. He requested that his name not be used in this report. Why would you buy the other person a knife? The juror claimed that Heard's credibility was called into question throughout the trial. Aside from her performance on the stand, several other factors led the jury to believe Heard was untrustworthy, according to one juror. The jury concluded that they were both abusive to each other, but Heard's team could not demonstrate that Depp's physical abuse was physical. They had their husband-wife squabbles. Both of them were yelling at each other. That doesn't make either of them right or wrong, in my opinion. That's what you do when you get into a fight. But to rise to the level of what she was claiming, there wasn't enough or any evidence to back up her claims, he said. The majority of the jury, according to the juror, saw Heard as the aggressor in the relationship. Why would you buy a knife for the other person, the aggressor, if you have a battered wife or husband? Why are you taking drugs around Johnny Depp if you truly want to help him get off drugs? He inquired. Heard testified that she bought Depp a large knife as a gift, which Depp's legal team showed jurors. According to the juror, photographs Heard took of her ex-husband also fell flat. Although the defense used them to demonstrate Depp's decrepit state following a drug or alcohol binge, the juror said they had no impact. When you mix alcohol and marijuana, you usually end up passed out, he explained. We talked about how many of the drugs she claimed he used were depressants, and you don't usually get violent on downers. As the pictures show, you turn into a zombie. In his testimony, Depp also admitted to using cocaine, a stimulant, and Heard testified that he did it frequently in her presence. No makeup, no credibility. The photos presented by Heard's team, which purportedly showed bruising on the actress's face, were also suspect. He claimed that the 2 photos shown near the end of the trial were not credible to the jury. Instead, they believe Depp's team claimed that one photo was altered to redden Heard's face to suggest bruising artificially. Heard testified that the photos appeared different due to a vanity light. Those were 2 distinct images. We couldn't tell which picture was real and which wasn't, the juror explained to GMA. The juror also claimed that the defense let Heard down by telling them that the actress never goes outside without makeup on. Nonetheless, she goes to file the restraining order without makeup, and it so happens that her publicist is accompanying her. All of these things add up to make it difficult to believe, he said. $7 million donation that never happened was a fiasco for Heard. According to the juror, the 4-hour debate over the difference between a pledge donation and an actual donation ended up being a failure for Heard. Heard testified on the stand that she never finished donating all $7 million for her divorce settlement to 2 charities because she didn't want Depp to benefit from the tax breaks by sending her settlements directly to the charities. The jury was shown a video of Heard on a Dutch talk show saying she gave her donation to the charities. The truth is, she didn't give much of it away, the juror stated. It was deceptive. He blamed Heard's legal team for giving her bad advice, such as responding to questions by looking directly at the jury. All of us were very uncomfortable, he admitted. He also stated that her team had sharp elbows rather than being sharp. They would cut people off and across because they only wanted one answer without context. So they were forcing people to answer a very specific question, which was self-evident, he said. Heard, he said, needs better advice. He said it was a bad decision to publish the defamatory op-ed in the Washington Post in 2018. If she hadn't done any of this with the op-eds, Johnny Depp could have aided her career. They didn't leave things in a bad way. He stated that when they divorced. After the op-ed, things got nasty. We only examined the evidence. Besides Heard's mistakes, the juror also denied that outside forces influenced the jury. He and at least 3 other people did not have Twitter accounts. Some claimed we were bribed. That is not correct. We were unaffected by social media. We went with the evidence. We didn't consider anything outside of the courtroom. We only examined the evidence, he said. There were serious allegations and a lot of money at stake, so we didn't take it lightly. The juror also stated that no one on the jury was starstruck and that their individual celebrity had no bearing on their decision. While he admitted knowing more about Depp than Heard, he hadn't seen many of his films. None of us were particularly fond of either of them, he admitted. When asked if he would see a future film starring Depp or Heard, the juror said it would depend on the film. What they do in their personal lives has no bearing on me. Going to the movies is a form of entertainment. I base my decision on the film's quality or the plot, he said, not for the sake of acting. Can you think of any other mistakes made by Team Heard? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.